Joining me now, Dore Gold. He's a former Israeli ambassador to the United Nations and a former foreign policy advisor to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He's also the author of the book, The Rise of Nuclear Iran. Ambassador, thank you very much for being with us. Is this like a bad dream for Israel, the restart of talks?
Well, this is a bad dream for the world. On the one hand, look, if through negotiations you get the Iranians now to withdraw and halt their nuclear program and turn over their enriched uranium, that would be great for everybody. But there's a record here, and we know how the Iranians negotiate. Back between 2003 and 2005, they negotiated with the EU3, Germany, France, and Britain. And when those negotiations were over, their head negotiator, Hassan Rouhani, gave a private speech in Tehran that was later leaked. And he said, you know what we did in those negotiations? When they started, we didn't have a big nuclear plant in Isfahan for uranium conversion. When we finished, it was up and running. We exploited the negotiations in order to move our program down the road. I'm afraid that that's what the Iranians will try and do again.
We are already hearing questions by some in this country that, you know, what hard proof is there that Iran has a nuclear weapons program and that it is at the precipice, if not at the point, of having a nuclear weapon? And folks are hearkening back to the lead up to the Iraq war, saying the administration told us that there were weapons of mass destruction. None were found. Are we heading down that same road now without cold, hard proof?
Well, there's a huge difference between the Iranian situation and what happened before the Iraq war. Because in the Iranian case, we have proof from the International Atomic Energy Agency. You know, that's a UN body. And it's not its last report, the report before that, it says, where do we get our intelligence from? From 10 different countries. These aren't cookbooks. This isn't one country trying to push an agenda. This is an international consensus by a UN agency that they're moving for it. Now, I also hear people saying, well, we don't know that they really want to make an atomic bomb. You know something? If you walked into a kitchen and you saw somebody take out a jar of peanut butter and a jar of jelly and 2 slices of bread, would you have doubts that they want to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? I mean, we have all the elements of a nuclear weapons program present today, from enriched uranium beyond what they need. We know from the International Atomic Energy Agency they're trying to figure out how to take the conventional weapon, the warhead, out of that Shihab-3 missile and put in a nuclear payload. And we know they parade these missiles around Tehran saying Israel must be wiped off the map. And they write it literally in both Farsi and English. So if that doesn't tell you that they're trying to develop a nuclear bomb, first of all to attack Israel, but also our neighbors like Saudi Arabia, then, you know, I don't know what kind of proof you need.
What is the American president to do, though, when Iran is coming back saying, we want to resume talks, and Barack Obama knows the American people don't want to get involved in another war? Is he supposed to say, no, we're not going to talk?
You know what? Talk, but be very careful and keep the time frame extremely short. Because if you allow them to drag this out, let's say towards the end of 2012, what would be wrong with that? Well, Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta said by the end of 2012 they're going to have a nuclear bomb. So you don't want to allow them to use these negotiations to create a kind of zone of protection for them from international pressures. That's what they've done in the past, and that's what I think they're going to try and do now.
Ambassador Dore Gold, thank you, sir, so much for being